The Hawthorne family name had once commanded respect across the land. A dynasty of merchants, politicians, and warriors, their wealth and influence stretched far beyond the borders of Greystone. But now, that name was whispered with contempt and fear. For the past 70 years, the Hawthorns had been at war with themselves. The feud had begun with two brothers, Alistair and Reginald Hawthorne, who had inherited their father's vast estate. Greed and ambition turned them against each other. Land was divided, alliances were made and broken, and what started as a quarrel over property became a war that engulfed the entire family. Now, 3 generations later, their descendants still bore the burden of that enmity. No Hawthorne could look another in the eye without suspicion. Marriages were sabotaged, businesses undermined, and betrayals were as common as morning rain. The curse of their name had become an unshakable shadow. Daniel Hawthorne had never known peace. He had grown up listening to stories of treachery and revenge, trained since childhood to despise his distant cousins, whom he had never met. His father, Edward Hawthorne, had drilled the words into him. The other side of the family is poison. They will smile at you and stab you in the back. Never trust a Hawthorne who is not of our branch. Daniel had never questioned it, until now. His father had fallen ill, and as the eldest son, Daniel was expected to take over the family's affairs. But there was a problem: money. Decades of infighting had drained the Hawthorne fortune. If the feud continued, there would be nothing left to fight over. A desperate idea took root in his mind. There was one person who could help: Eleanor Hawthorne, the granddaughter of his grandfather's greatest rival, the enemy. The first meeting took place in secret. They met in the ruins of an old manor that had once belonged to the Hawthorns before the feud had divided the land. Eleanor was wary, her green eyes sharp with distrust. "You must be desperate if you're coming to me," she said. Daniel kept his expression neutral. "I'm practical. This feud is killing us both. We need to put an end to it." She crossed her arms. "And why should I trust you?" "Because I have as much to lose as you do." For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, against all odds, Eleanor nodded. Their alliance was fragile. Both sides of the family would see their cooperation as betrayal. They worked in secrecy, pooling resources, restoring lost assets, and slowly rebuilding the Hawthorne fortune. But not everyone wanted peace. Rumors spread. Old grudges resurfaced. Daniel's younger brother, Marcus, was furious when he learned of the partnership. "You're dishonoring our ancestors," Marcus spat. "They died fighting this war, and now you want to end it like it was all for nothing?" "It was for nothing," Daniel shot back. "All it's done is ruin us." Marcus left that night. Days later, an attempt was made on Daniel's life. Daniel survived the assassination attempt, but he knew the truth now. The feud would not end with words alone. Someone had to put an end to the cycle of revenge. It was time to confront Marcus. Their final confrontation took place at the heart of the Hawthorne estate. Marcus stood at the head of a gathering of loyalists who still believed in the feud. Daniel arrived with Eleanor and those who wanted peace. "This ends today," Daniel declared. "We either rebuild together or we destroy what little we have left." Marcus's eyes burned with fury. "Then we settle this the old way." A duel. The brothers fought under the ancient Hawthorne tradition. Steel against steel. Blades clashed in the moonlight, the echoes of their ancestors watching from the shadows. In the end, Daniel stood victorious. Marcus, wounded but alive, looked up at his brother with a mixture of hate and resignation. "You were always the better swordsman," he admitted. Daniel extended a hand. "It doesn't have to be like this anymore." For the first time in generations, a Hawthorne chose unity over division. Breaking the curse. The feud did not end overnight, but it began with a choice. Over the years, the wounds of the past slowly healed. Trust was rebuilt, and the name that had once been cursed became something new. Daniel and Eleanor's work restored the Hawthorne legacy, not through war, but through unity. The curse had been broken.